Hey Lab Rats, it's Darian of Lab Shenanigans, and welcome to another episode of Scientifically Speaking. Today's guest is Randers. We spill the tea about toxic lab environments and how Randers has been navigating through their lab for the past couple of years. It is recording officially. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Scientifically Speaking. Today, I have a guest. Their name is Randers, and Randers is a senior student pursuing a PhD in the virology field. Good morning. How are you?
What's up? What's up? Good morning.
I literally just got Starbucks, and so I pooped already. I feel so good. I feel so
Wow.
relieved.
I'm jealous. I see that Starbucks.
I'm thirsty. Also, it's 11 right now, 11 a.m., and I feel like I have to down all my coffee before noon. Otherwise, I'm not going to be hungry because coffee is a hunger suppressant. And so if I don't drink my coffee before 12, I feel like I'm just not going to be hungry after 12 or around that time. So you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like I got to be hungry around lunchtime to eat a lunch around a normal time. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to just down everything right now during this podcast. Hold on.
Wow, just shove it in my face. I was running from an experiment to be here. But go off. I'm jealous. I'm happy you're
Literally,
having
it's
that
just I'm just trying to plug in Starbucks. Starbucks, if you're listening to me, please sponsor me. Wait, you said you're doing an experiment. What experiment are you doing?
Oh God, I'm doing a time course to check the stability of an enzyme. Over like 24 hours, three-hour time points.
Can you explain the concept behind it for those that are just not as smart as you?
I
Like
can.
watch. I was actually hired by your PI to test you on this knowledge, see if you actually know your stuff.
Is this a reverse interview for graduate school? Am I going to get fired if I don't do
Yeah, if you
this?
can't answer these questions, you're actually kicked out.
Oh my God, I'm stressed.
This is actually an exam. This is a course right now, and this will be published live. We're actually live right now. Did you know that?
Oh my God, hello, Hyperion fans. I don't mind talking about it, but also I hate my project. I didn't choose my project, and so I'm like, this is what happens. Also, I think it's boring. I'm not
Hey.
doing viral enzyme
Mm.
stability. I'm like validating a commercial assay.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. We always need that validation. And
I
in our experiments, it just
especially need it. Not my experiments. I need it.
Miranda, I've known you for about what, 3, 4 years now? I want to say 4 years. We've known each
Almost
other for
four.
4 years. Yeah, I met you through, I think, at his apartment.
Yeah, we were definitely doing apartment hangouts a lot back then.
Yeah, when
We were first years.
I was dating who should not be named, and shots fired. and I think one thing that at the time I spent, like when I was spending a lot of time with you guys, I was hardcore venting about lab, and like my mental health was really plummeting, and you guys really did a good job of spending time with me, and being around y'all helped keep me sane. Eventually, we all know I got out, I crawled out of that lab. But I think more recently, when we started hanging out, you started telling me your stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was in the same exact position as you a couple of years ago, because your lab is not the best right now, right?
It hurt whenever I was talking about my situation, and you were like, you sound exactly how I did before I left. And I was like, bro, don't tell me that. I can't quit a PhD right now.
Hey, when in doubt, masters out.
True.
But
Should be a bigger
what's holding
motto.
you back from mastering out? I mean, it's not bad or anything.
It's not bad. It's just like, so I'm a fourth year already, and like
Um,
it's too late to join another lab and start over.
I see.
I'm almost at the end of fourth year too. So am I almost done?
Yeah.
Darian?
Oh my God, I lost my fucking train of thought. Fucking train of thought.
Mastering out.
Mastering when in doubt, masters out, and then oh, you're in your fourth year. How are you almost done? Are you like near publishing at least?
That's hard because a few months ago, my PI told my committee I will have two first author papers in the next 6 months. And I'm like, great. So can I graduate after that? And she was like, no, you'll be here for at least a year and a half. And I'm
What
like, why? I don't
is
know. I
I'm
don't
like
know.
I'm like that chick from High School Musical in the song Status Quo. I'm just thinking, is that even legal? No, it's not the chick. It's the guy next to the chick. And he's just like, she's like, I love to pop, whatever, whatever. And then he's like, is that even legal? But I mean, according to your institution, I thought if you have one first author paper, you're, I guess, eligible for graduation, right?
Now it is. I'm actually in an older program where I don't even need a
Oh.
paper to graduate.
Okay, and this might be a really dumb question, but is it ultimately your PI who can sign off on you graduating?
It's technically a committee decision, but really everyone just follows the advice of the PI. And woohoo, lucky for me, my entire committee is my PI's collaborators, like very long term, very close collaborators. So I don't know how much their
Oh
opinion will differ.
no. I just feel like it's you're in a tough position because it might seem like a lot of people are against you or will not be able to side with you. Have you talked to other higher ups that are understanding of your situation?
Yes. So it was hard because in the beginning, I was so happy to be in grad school, very naive, honestly. I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. Everyone, all these collaborators are just such close friends with her, and they're just going to give me the best advice for my PhD.
Hmm. Oh
But
no.
yes, I have talked to higher ups. This person was like, and
Oh
I was
no.
like, oh, can I get an ex officio early? Which an ex officio is like your program director,
Hmm.
who sits on your thesis committee. Really, they don't really make scientific decisions about your project if they don't want to,
Hmm.
but they do help you be on track to graduation, and they're appointed in your 6th year. And I'm like,
Why
fuck,
is
I'm
it
a
like
whole
it's like
year.
why the fuck are you working on this project for so long? Fuck it. Let's add another committee member. Is that the whole message behind that?
Yeah, kind of like a third party. What's going on? Is it the PI? Is it the student?
Mm,
How can we get this person out?
well, I think I feel like your situation is so tough because there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Bitch,
How
I
dare
have
they?
this I have this room reserved.
Where are you?
I am at Rice University. I'm in a conference room and
Oh my God, I
this
forgot you're the
is
professor of eating
I am the
ass.
professor of eating
Oh
ass.
my God, you're such a famous professor. Teach me your ways.
Class is now in session. I need everyone to come to my room immediately. Immediately.
Daddy.
And oh my gosh, so today is oh my god, I'm like literally cutting you off.
No, 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 no. Go ahead. I don't care. I got
Literally.
time.
I feel like your situation is tough because there's light at the end of the tunnel, but also is it worth it to try to finish everything? Can you like mentally take it all in? I mean,
Well,
can you take it?
I can
Can you
take
like
it.
I mean, it's a hole big
Okay.
enough. Can you take it? Okay, I might cut that up. I
Oh,
might cut
yeah,
that out.
please.
Yeah. Um,
That's a good question. two
because
months
is it really
ago,
going to take a year? Because what my old PI did, she would just she was like one of those coaches. Okay, there are healthy coaches where like if you're working out and they're like, okay, let's run 5 miles. You're done running the 5 miles, right? Or like, at least you're on your last lap or whatever. And then they're like, okay, that was so good. Let's run another mile while you're finishing up that 5 mile. And some people could be like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I'm in the mood. I can keep doing it. But my PI kind of did it in a very unhealthy way where she would just keep inching me to keep doing another experiment or staying later on one night or just keep adding to this experiment when it just really is kind of deviating from the whole picture. So is your PI doing it like in a very is she doing that like in an unhealthy way?
Yes, and to answer in a metaphor, I sprained my ankle and she's like, keep going. And it got worse and
Oh,
worse. And you're slower, you're injured.
yeah.
It doesn't work. It was how can I say this?
She's a
So
bitch.
those are your words, not mine.
Don't worry,
And
I'll say everything for you. She's a motherfucking bitch. She's a slut. What's that quote from Mean Girls? Don't trust this fugly slut or whatever.
it's this bitch is a fugly slut. Do not trust this skank ass bitch. I don't know. I don't
All
know.
right, so I'm gonna edit the words around so
No,
it
no, no,
so
no.
it's
Quoting me, girls.
I'm kidding.
I'd be done. I'd be like, I'm suing you for defamation and for my exit out of graduate school. No, my ejection out of graduate school.
I get like a cease and desist letter.
So this is if you
Oh,
post. This is on recording. If you post, you're gonna have me as a fucking
uh,
what are those?
no.
A side character on all your shows, like a co-host.
I will not. I promise. I will not edit that part out. But oh my, I mean, okay. You know what I mean. You know what I
Okay.
mean. Oh my gosh. So, oh my god.
Oh, but anyways, yeah. 2 months ago, I would have been like, no, I
No,
can't
2 months ago,
handle it.
Randers.
Thank you. 2 months ago, fuck.
You're like that guy who's doing that commercial and he can't say buttery flaky crust.
On the 30th take, flaky rubbery crust.
Okay, backtrack.
Okay.
Uh,
uh-huh. anyways. I'm not doing it again. Okay, so 2 months ago, Randers would have been like, no, I cannot take this anymore. I had increased my Prozac dose to the dose of when my dad died during graduate school, by the way. And I had added another antidepressant on top of that. My therapist, my psychiatrist, my friends, my mom, my program director was
I
like,
am so sorry.
oh, no, it's okay. Grief happens and I'm over it. They were all like, can you leave? And I'm like, I don't think so. So,
I'm so sorry with what happened. But at the end of the day, I think, I'm sorry, there's no but. I'm sorry what happened. At the end of the day, do you really need a PhD to pursue your dream job? Think about that. Yes, like a PhD opens opportunities, but if you're wanting to stay in academia, then yes, like a PhD is needed. If you're wanting to go into industry, some jobs do require a PhD, but there are others that don't. Ultimately depends on what you're wanting to do after graduation because sometimes it's not even worth it. Like even if you masters out, you can still have a really good job with a master's degree. And there's
sure.
nothing wrong with masterings out. I think it'd be better for like, this is my personal opinion. This is my opinion. But this is my opinion. If you masters out, I think it's better to leave happy or like relieved of like, oh my gosh, I just left this environment than try to endure like another quote unquote year. Who knows if it's actually a year? What if it's like 3 years in reality? And then that 3 years can like mentally affect you for the rest of either the rest of your life or whatever, like the next, I don't know, 10 years. I'm just throwing out arbitrary numbers because where I'm coming from, like 3 years ago, not 3 years ago, like a couple years ago, before I left my lab, I was very determined to try to stay in this lab, stay as long as I can, and try to, enter that neuroscience PhD program and try to join that lab to finish out to further expand on my project. That was a long term goal when I entered that lab. And I felt, I guess, a little bad that when the idea of me leaving lab came up, I felt bad that I guess I thought I would be abandoning that project, but I didn't really abandon it. And there was this heavy feeling of guilt that I wouldn't be able to complete it. But I think I was able to leave and transition. I'm still finishing out that project, but another person is expanding on it. And I think ever since I left lab, like really my mental health has really gone up. And I was able to find another lab. And this lab is the complete opposite, where I think this current PI knows that I'm so triggered from a lot of things that happened in my old lab. And we had to actually have a talk where he's like, hey, this lab is not like your old lab. And all the grad students really love this lab. And I know that I joined the right lab. And so I think for you, I don't know, girl, I say get out. Girl, you in trouble.
Audience, put in your answers now. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know, you're one of my good friends, and it just makes me so sad to see you go through all this and I see a lot of similarities in our situations. Like what is your earliest memory of this lab where you're like, oh my gosh, this is a potential red flag, or this is kind of bad?
It's a blur. The depression, I just oppressed it. No, I'm just kidding. I just oppressed the
That's my
bad
coping
memory.
mechanism. I just forget.
One of the earliest things that I definitely brushed off
Hmm.
was when I joined the lab. They
Yeah.
were like, okay, we got this grant funded. Read the grant and see what topic or project you would like to do. And I was like, okay. I read it. I picked out like, 4 potential projects that I could do. I sat down with my PI and my junior PI and was going through them, and they're like, oh, that sounds really great, but we'd have to set up this system, blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
I specifically avoided the current thesis project that I have now. I knew that it was something that they wanted to pursue. I also knew that this project was giving the last person who started it a lot of headaches
The reason why you wanted to avoid this current project is because is it
because
like
it
a
didn't work.
oh, I see, I
The
see.
Somebody started it in the lab. He got one good figure. They put it in a grant. The grant got funded.
Oh,
I could not repeat it for the fucking life of me.
I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Like, is it bad to backtrack and be like, LOL, we sent in a grant that we can replicate this experiment? Actually, we're unable to do that.
I don't know the logistics because the grant had a lot of other things, of course.
Yeah.
So they spend the money on those other things. We spent a lot of money on my project. And I feel like a grant is like, well, you have the money, you earned it through
Hmm.
your proposal, and go spend it. I don't know, somebody can correct me, but I feel like you don't have to live up to what you proposed because that's
Mm.
just science and it just doesn't work out sometimes.
Is it possible to pivot the literally when I thought of pivot, I'm thinking of that scene from Friends when they're flipping that couch. Pivot. But is it possible to pivot the project in a way where you just kind of, I guess, avoid it entirely, but also to some extent it is relatable to your current project? You know what I
Of
mean?
course. Yeah, it is possible to do that. I didn't know how I was going to do that with mine if it
Mm,
didn't work in the first place.
I see, I see, I see. But you're like so deep down the rabbit hole that it's kind of too late to pivot, right?
Yes, I do have like side projects that I don't have enough time for,
Hmm.
which I just heard yesterday that she's gonna give to the new student that's coming in the lab, which I'm fine. I'm happy
Okay.
with. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see it into fruition. I'm
Hmm.
just upset that, damn, like I didn't get to do that for my PI who boasts, oh, I give intellectual freedom to my students. No, you don't. I did not want this project in the first place. And other times when we go over my data, it's just you shouldn't pursue that experiment. Do
What?
this instead. And it's really put me behind.
Oh my gosh. rather than trying to replicate a figure, can you just consistently show like negative data that this is, I think there is some positives in showing negative. That's such an oxymoron, but there is some positives in showing like negative data that you're unable to do this. Maybe it's the conditions, or maybe it's the technicality of the experiment, and maybe there was just some small fluke in that previous researchers' experiments. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm a very anxious, insecure person. I don't think that's out of the ordinary for graduate
Hey, we
students.
love that. We love that.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being anxious. Here's what I always say.
Normal.
Yeah, like if you're anxious, it just shows that you really care about things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always put it in that perspective. Like if you get nervous before a presentation, it's because you really care about presenting and presenting the data.
Hmm. Yeah,
Nothing's
or
wrong with
like how
that.
you look and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, being a second year, I guess, when you first joined the lab,
Mm-hmm.
just joined the lab, I joined a very prominent lab. I thought my PI was very intimidating.
Who?
And
Say their name. Say, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
you almost got me. Like, "What?
I'm like trying to tempt you. I'm just like throwing all these traps. I'm sorry, what's their name again?
I won't tell you their name, but I'll tell you
I'm
all of
just
their
kidding.
awards. No, I'm just
No.
kidding.
But I will tell you their room number.
Mm. Oh no, bad thoughts, intrusive thoughts. Anyways, we'll be keep quiet.
All the voices inside my head.
You don't want to know the intrusive thought I
Oh
had.
no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I low-key do, but for the sake of this podcast, let's not say it. Let's not say
I'll tell you after the podcast.
it. Okay.
But anyways, I thought my PI was very intimidating. I had so much
This is the current
negative
PI.
data. Oh yeah, I never left.
Oh, okay. 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 Gotcha.
Yeah, I kept getting failed experiments, and they're like, why can't you repeat it? And I wanted to say, okay, no, what is that word? No,
No, fuck off.
no. I'm
I'm putting.
don't put those words into my mouth. I'm going to say no hate to the person who started this project. He's awesome, great guy.
Mm-hmm. But
But
see, okay.
biased.
For those that are listening, I you have to recognize a pattern of like when someone's building something up, like ba 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 ba. But there's always that but. It's like
Mhm.
I really like this person, but I really like your dress, but your
What are you trying
presentation
to
is really
say?
good. But see, I recognize it. So, but what? They're
Very
good. No hate to them.
insightful. Yeah, no hate to them, but I'm gonna get hate for this, but he's an MD.
Why are you gonna get hate? Like sometimes the truth will set you free. And bitch, you're a bird flying away.
Yeah, cool guy. But like I
Okay,
had
I'm
not
trying to think.
done
Trying to think
research
who.
since undergrad, and they
Mm,
finished their MD and came to our lab for honestly a fellowship. I don't know if that happens after residency. I think that does.
mhm.
So dang, it was a long time that he was out of the lab.
What I learned from my current PI right now is that if you're having trouble on experiment, it is not. It's okay to ask for help and like legit ask, hey, is it okay if we take in some undergrads to help me with this experiment, or we take in, or we hire a tech? I mean, if your lab is financially capable of hiring another tech, ask for it. But or maybe like a rotation student, but it probably isn't worth it because rotation students stay for like what, a couple weeks.
For us, it's like 8 weeks.
So maybe it's not even worth it to even ask for a rotation student
Well,
to help you
yeah, I would like one, but I also would not like one because you have to do spend a
train.
lot of time training and
Oh yeah,
teaching them.
I totally feel you. Totally feel you.
Hmm.
And then I think once you were a couple months, probably like a year in, that's when you started telling me, pouring your heart out and telling me all these toxic stories. And my followers, they love tea time. Can you spill some motherfucking tea for us?
Which tea? You know I got
Ooh,
tea, bitch.
oh wow. She's like, what kind? Chai, green, oolong.
Oh, you know I got all flavors.
She has like her own boba tea shop right now. Can I get the really hot tea with a lot of drama?
Yeah, okay. So you want the one with sexual harassment? And I
Yeah.
told my boss after a couple years, and she said, well, that's your responsibility to stand up to that person.
Oh my God. That's so frustrating. And did you tell someone higher up about that?
No, I regret it. And honestly, I feel like I should still do it. It's hard. It's a weird situation because um he's fired now. He's somewhere
Mm,
else. And it's like, can I still make a complaint and it have effects elsewhere? Because I goddamn know if he's working with that person is working with women,
hmm.
that they're uncomfortable wherever he is.
Ooh, do you know where they're working exactly?
I don't know. Probably like a sister institution. I don't know. I don't really care to keep up with him.
But that's obviously it's very shameful on both parts, your PIs and that person who left the lab. They've already suffered the consequences of what they did. But I think your
I don't think
PI, well, I mean, being fired.
I mean, he got fired because he was lazy, would show up for
Oh,
3
okay.
hours a day. Not, no, my boss did not know that he was inappropriately frisking girls.
Well, wait, so then how would your PI say? So you just like anonymously reported, not anonymously, but you told your PI like, hey, there's someone in the lab that did this to me.
It wasn't, I did not tell my PI to tell her. The situation happened. So, this is where I started to get a bad relationship with my PI, and then it really went downhill. She had, it was a short story. She had come to me after my committee meeting saying, Miranda, your committee thinks you're not productive enough. And I respond, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not being productive, but that's because these experiments don't work.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you tell me to do all these experiments and I meet with you every single week. So I don't know what you're saying that I'm not productive.
Right.
And there was some other tea in there saying, well, people are coming up to me and saying that they're worried about you, that you're not doing work. And I'm like, who is talking shit about me in the lab?
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt very betrayed at the time because I thought all of my lab mates, like we were a family. Red flag.
Do you think she's telling the truth that someone actually told her that they think you're not being productive? Or do you think that's her form of manipulation? Maybe she's thinking that you're not doing enough work. And so to not blatantly tell you that she's thinking you're not doing enough work, she kind of just masks it by saying, oh, someone told me. But in reality, no one told her and she's just thinking it.
It was both. She did tell me
Because
an
my old PI did that all the time. And so I feel like right now it's easy for me to like pick up on someone
yeah,
who does that.
it's smart because you're going to believe it
Yep.
initially.
Yep.
Now I've had it enough and I see past it.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was both a recent graduate student who graduated and left had complained about me. And I got so angry. I was like, are you kidding me? This guy is a hypocrite. This guy is literally on Facebook and playing video games at his desk all the time. And I'm not productive. And she's like, well, he gets his work done. And I'm like, no, his experiments work. I
Yeah.
get my work done.
Oh no, that's annoying as fuck.
No, but
Holy.
yes, yeah, you're also right where it is like her projection of me that she thinks that I don't do enough, and she'll just say, well, other people are saying this about you when they're not.
Your PI is kind of well known and high up.
Mhm.
I think if you even try saying anything bad or remotely bad about them, there's going to be a sense of apprehension behind the person who's listening to you, right? And they're not going to
Mhm.
fully understand your story and they're going to honestly victim blame you and say, oh, well, maybe it's you. Maybe you're not quote unquote productive enough or you're not smart enough or whatever.
Mhm.
Is there some truth to that where I guess like trapped, you can't really talk to some other people because they're not going to be very understanding in your situation?
Yes, yes, and no. So I did, you mentioned it earlier. I did talk to one of the higher ups.
Mm-hmm.
This person is a program director, and so she's not the chair of the department, who is technically the boss of my PI.
Mm-hmm.
But there, I don't even know what would happen, if I filed a formal complaint.
Hey, I say report to HR. when in doubt, no, I can't think of a rhyme, but just report to HR, girl. Report to HR. Anonymously do it because there's no harm in that. This is going to be my little hint of foreshadowing in another episode. I'm not going to talk about it, but always anonymously report. What I learned is that HR, they will not protect you. They will protect the boss.
Are you
But
fucking kidding
hey,
me?
but hey, I think sometimes it just puts a little dent on their like little pristine image. Word got out about my previous PI and whoever reported her anonymously. Don't know who. And
Who could it be?
really don't know. And I think that definitely put a dent in their image to a point where no grad student is wanting to rotate in the lab.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely doing that on the side of talking to first years and being like, for the love of God, do not rotate here, but not through an anonymous report, like with HR or ombuds or anything like that, just because it's like that fear that people have, and obviously I have, that they're gonna know who reported.
Is your lab big? Or I guess, is your lab small enough? Is your lab really small where if you did report anonymously, your PI would easily pinpoint and know who it was?
My lab does have a fair amount of people. Like, I would say that it's big.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I'm the only one experiencing this.
Okay, Sam Smith. She said, I know I'm not the only one. Okay, wow.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I took off my headphones and I heard like a little rattle noise. I'm like, oh fuck, did my headphones just break? No, my headphones hit my earrings and it made like this little rattle noise. Anyway,
No.
I
Too
shouldn't
bad
even be mad
accessories.
because these are really cheap headphones anyway. They're like Apple headphones. I mean, they're like the ones you get with your phone, but this is why am I going on a little rant about my headphones? Anyway,
No, my Apple headphones are the ones that have the aux cable, not the lightning cable.
oh no, that's the one I'm using right now. That's
Yeah.
the one I'm using right now.
Oh my God.
I still
Yeah.
use it. I love it.
Twins.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. You said your
My
before I
lab
cut
is
you off.
big.
Yeah, your lap. Oh, your lap's big.
My lab is big. Can we get drunk and go ghost hunting?
What? Actually, no, we can't because we're both medicated.
No, I stopped.
Oh, wait. If you don't mind
This
me
is
asking, ¿por qué?
this is when I said 2 months ago Randers would be like, hell no, I cannot continue this. I can't handle this. What am I gonna do? So other people recommended take a leave of absence. Basically, take a break from graduate school. You
Yeah.
don't get paid, but it's kind of like you're on hold and you
Yeah.
can come back after a while to finish your PhD.
Yeah.
I seriously considered that because I could not, honestly, I couldn't even walk to work. I was like dragging my feet, head down at my desk because I was just so depressed.
Now, if you were to actually do that, do you think your PI would abide by that and let you leave without doing experiments for a while?
So I don't think it's their choice on whether I get to take a leave of absence, but I know that she would have been unhappy that I'm delaying it.
I'm asking because my old lab, I found out that when I was leaving, that the grad student who rotated with us, she decided to not stay in the lab, but she joined another lab that was even more toxic, which for me is like mind blowing. I'm like, how can you find a more toxic lab? But anyway, she ended up having to go back to our lab. And after a couple months after I left, lab got hella toxic to a point where she had to get the leave of absence. And I heard that my old PI tried to work around that and try to find like a loophole to get her to still do work at home.
Fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the point.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And I was like, what the heck is wrong with her? But I'm just sitting in the back seat eating popcorn.
I literally saw a meme yesterday that was like, when the problem asks you, what's the problem? It's you. It's you.
It's you. People keep walking by, and because I didn't reserve this room, I'm like, I'm really hoping no one's going to interrupt me like right now.
Fuck him.
Okay,
Tell
so
him
like,
you're a professor.
You're right. Oh yeah, I'm the professor of eating ass. Yeah. Are you here for office hours? All right. Okay, medicated. Drinking.
Oh,
Wait, so why'd you get off again?
Oh, okay. Anyways, I was thinking take a leave of absence.
Yes, take a leave of absence is what we're talking about. Yeah.
But it just so happened at the time it was like around Christmas and holiday break. So I was
This is 2021.
2021, yes,
Okay.
holidays.
Yar.
So we
Yar.
so there was like a scheduled break in there. I took like 2 weeks off from
Uh-huh.
meeting with my PIs,
Yeah.
and
That in itself was a holiday.
it was a holiday. I was like,
Holiday.
Christmas who celebrating leaving meeting with her. That was literally like a breaking point. Like I couldn't do it anymore. I did tell her
Yeah.
essentially, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
How
well,
that turned out.
oh, I had my usually my arguments with her are alone, but this time I had my junior PI and she was like
Mhm.
trying to gaslight me. We don't fight. And I'm like, okay, we have strong disagreements. Like, fight is a big word.
Yeah.
She's like, we don't have disagreements. And I'm like, what the
No.
hell do you think me crying in your office is every week?
Oh, okay. So moving forward, what you should do, and I learned this from Jessie from episode 1. In our lab, we would have our one-on-one meetings with her every Friday, right? Whenever we enter her office and our PI closes that door, she's like an entirely different person, and she would try to persuade and manipulate you to do more experiments, stay later, whatnot, and she would guilt trip you to do whatever. And I was a fool, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, I need to do all these experiments if I need to go to grad school, blah 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 blah. Jessie, so smart. Before even sitting down to talk with her, she would grab out her phone and she would record, place it on the table so that our PI would see it and then start the one-on-one meeting. And that's so smart because our PI never like tried to manipulate Jessie.
Oh my God,
You
she's
should
so
do that.
ballsy. Okay, I do record, I just don't tell her.
I think no, you should tell her so that she knows that you're a force to be reckoned with. Like she cannot fuck with you.
Okay, true. And to get it to stop,
Yeah.
sure. But it's like, what if I don't record that day and she can use it as a time to then be manipulative?
Mhm.
I am a feisty bitch and I recorded without her knowing because,
Yeah.
Texas is a one party
Yep.
consent state.
I looked into that too.
You don't need to tell them because you're in the recording. You don't need to tell them.
Yep. Yep.
I'm consenting to be recorded.
Yep. But if you live in New York, you can't because it's a
Oh,
two-party state. That means you and your PI have to consent to the recording. And if y'all were to get into like some legal trouble, you can't use that in court.
pro tip. But also, if you're worried about doing it, just be like, oh, I want to record what we
Yeah.
say so I can remember what experiments to do later, whatever you say,
Oh, smart.
if you're trying to do it sneakily. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, okay. What happens if you fight fire with fire where there was that third person and then your PI is like, oh, we never fight. And then you just like blatantly lied and said, no, you told me one time to go.
Wait, which third person?
You said there was like that faculty or whatever that was
I
sitting
have,
in
yeah, I have a junior PI who sits with me.
junior PI. What if you're like, no, that one time you told me to shove this pencil up my asshole. What are you talking about? What if like, which is obviously a complete lie. I don't know. What if your PI did tell you that? What happened? What if you just fight fire with fire like that? Like you literally told me last Thursday to shove this pencil up my asshole, and I fought with you on that. I told you no, that's so disgusting, and you just kept pushing for that.
And I'm saying this?
Yeah, what if you just did that?
That would be funny. Gaslight them back.
Yeah,
Girl boss, do
exactly.
it.
You can't gaslight a gaslighter. You just need to do that to your PI and just be serious about it. Gaslight the gaslighter.
I don't mind. I think that's funny. I say go for it.
Yeah.
But a part of me is just like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't want to keep
Yeah, you're
fighting
right.
my
Because
exes. Yeah.
you're right. I think the angel on my shoulder is telling me, if you win this fight, what are you gaining out of it? I think the best way to quote unquote win this fight is leave, girl, leave.
Hey, I'm so close. I'm on recovery.
Uh-huh.
Randers is now not on meds because new year, new PI, basically. She was suddenly nice.
Oh,
Um,
do you think she's genuinely being nice?
I think she's trying to make it
Okay.
work
Uh-huh.
because apparently she cannot understand her own rudeness and
Mm,
condescension. I don't know if that's a word.
wait, I'm kind of curious. Let's search it up. Condescension.
Oh, you were gonna cut that out.
No, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm dumb, so I wouldn't
No,
put it
you're
past
right. That
me.
is a word. Condescension.
Wow, I'd be
Yep.
making up words,
Con
and Google just says it's right.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. I would love to hear more stories about the toxic work environment. This was mm, a very
Um,
flavorful tea time, motherfucking tea time.
oh, I got all the flavors for you.
Ooh, what's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor. Okay, Randers, do you have any advice for my followers?
Wait till you're 25 when your prefrontal cortex has been fully developed and you really know whether you want to go to graduate school.
Is it really
That's
25? I thought it was 23. Wait,
oh fuck me.
hold on. What we know? Okay. Who's
Google
gonna
it.
who's gonna win this argument? The neuroscientist or the virologist? Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I'm dumb. So I just believe whatever TikTok tells me. NCBI, maturation of the adolescent brain.
Oh fuck, you're right. It's 25. Oh no.
Get wrecked. I'm just
I
kidding.
know. My asshole literally just got wrecked.
Wow, and you call yourself the professor of
I
eating?
know. I know. I'm a phony. I'm a phony. All right. Well, thank you, Randers, for sharing your gorgeous, delicious stories. And I really hope that you want to come back next time.
I'll be happy to spill the tea. It's just steeping right now.
Talk
So
to my secretary. I don't know. We'll have to schedule you in. But thank you so much, Randers. And I hope you have, and I hope all y'all have a wonderful day too.
thank
Alrighty.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.